Hi, everyone. Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett. Thank you for joining us for the Mayor's Table. Today's episode, we're going to be speaking with Arvin Trujillo, the CEO of Four Corners Economic Development. We're going to be talking about business expansion and recovery, railroad, broadband, and all the things we're looking on for the long-term future for economic stability right here in the Four Corners. Hey everyone, Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Mayor's Table. Our special guest today comes all the way from San Juan College. We have our friend Arvin Trujillo, who is the CEO of Four Corners Economic Development with us. Arvin, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Mayor. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a good time to kind of get everybody maybe familiar with the work that Four Corners Economic Development is doing, FORCED, as we come to call them now. Because there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of projects and a lot of focuses that I know you all are trying to wrangle in so that we can actually see some good things coming down the road. I know there's always a lot of planning, there's always a lot of hope, but what you're trying to do is put together the team or teams through your regional partnerships to help us carry these things through. And so I'm excited to have you on here and talk about the things happening over there.
Again, we're really excited. There's a number of really good successes that we've seen, and building on those successes, we're seeing more opportunities arise. And so we're really excited about how 2021 is looking at this point. And again, really happy to come here and just let people know what we're doing.
Sure. Well, I see this as kind of a bounce back year. 2022 is going to, I think, be even a bigger bounce back year. But, you know, we had a lot of momentum in our region kind of going into 2020. And, you know, I called it the roaring 20s is what I was anticipating was going to happen. But obviously we've all been faced with challenges here, and we want to continue to kind of capitalize on where we have been. And it was 2020, did it kind of cause a little bit of a lull in some of the plans and things that you were working on, or did it give you time to maybe work on some planning efforts for the future?
Well, in a way, it came and it was a stumbling block initially, because we were just really in an unknown spot. And how do we begin to look at this? And one of the big areas we were working on was building relationships. And the best way to do that is to have those face-to-face meetings.
Sure.
And to develop that camaraderie between different organizations throughout this region. But again, that came to a stop. But we picked things up and we continued working through technology. We learned how to move through that phase. And we kept moving forward in terms of the initiatives that we had. And as a result of our efforts, we've seen some good positive results, and we're now in the position to build on those looking into the future.
That's great. I am very proud of the work that has been done to include, you know, our friends on the Navajo Nation and much of the planning and things of projects that we're looking at. You know, we have some very big, hairy, audacious goals, so to speak, and the Navajo Nation is a critical player in the potential success of many of these projects. So I want to kind of get into those things, but I want to give you a chance to kind of provide maybe an overlook of 30,000 feet what FORCED is doing, your strategic plan, the projects you're working with the Navajo Nation, and of course projects here in San Juan County. Kind of tell us a little bit about the strategic plan of FORCED.
Okay, really what we're looking at there, Mayor, is looking at themed areas that we identified as a result of our interactions with a lot of our community members, our businesses, and our industries. And what we came up with were 5 themed areas that we wanted to focus on. One was looking at partnerships, and that's been built out, looking at business retention and expansion, and how do we begin to look at supporting our small businesses and our industries as we begin our efforts to transition from solely an energy sector economy to a more diverse economy. Second was looking at the FORCED organization itself. How do we begin to develop our organizational efforts? How do we look at these goal teams? How do we look at our board? How do we look at policy? and how do these things help us move forward as we begin to develop these partnerships and new opportunities here, not only in San Juan County, but in the general Four Corners region.
Sure.
The other piece that we began looking at also are target industries. What areas do we begin to focus on? Understanding that other organizations are also looking at different industries. We're not here to duplicate their efforts. We're here to complement their efforts. We're here to help them. But if there's some other new areas where we need to take the lead in, what are those areas and how should we proceed down that? Now, and the other subgroup within that targeted area is looking at projects in particular target areas, and I'll explain some of those a little bit further in this quick overview. One is looking at the Northwest New Mexico Growers Market Alliance, where we were able to work with the Food Hub, with the college, to bring all the farmers markets together. And we're working on helping them in areas of training, helping them understand what possibilities there are in terms of developing new revenue streams, possibly through federal programs and et cetera. And again, we're here to support that industry. We're also in partnerships with the Navajo Nation on a number of different projects that are essential, and they need to be a part of this in order to see these projects come to fruition. We're also working on solar development, and we've got two companies who are coming into the western side of the county looking at development there. Along with the target industries, we're looking at workforce development. How do we prepare our workforce? How do we look at these different target industries and prepare displaced workers? How do we prepare our college students coming out of schools? How do we look at high school students looking at careers? How do we look at those aspects and prepare a workforce that would be ready for new opportunities coming down the road here? And finally, looking at data analysis and marketing. How do we begin to market ourselves? That's been the big question that's been out there, saying that San Juan County is really unknown to folks. People don't know who we are. And again, people also asking, what kind of data do we have? How can I get information about the counties, about the municipalities? How do we begin to do that? Well, we were able to do that through our website. We retooled and upgraded our website, looking at two new contractors coming in, Golden Shovel and GIS Zoom Prospectors. Through those two contractors, we've upgraded our website to include demographic information, economic information about not only San Juan County, but all the municipalities within the county, as well as the Navajo Nation. We have 16 chapters within the county. And we've got information now about each of those counties. And how do we begin to market ourselves? We got information in there that where each of the communities have provided pages detailing what they're looking at with economic development. What do they have to bring to the table? We also have our educational institutions in there, both the colleges, the branch colleges, the high schools. You know, what do they bring so that people can begin to look at that? And if they're wanting to move into the area, what educational opportunities are there for them or their employees or even their children and their families should they want to move into the area? And so again, these are different aspects that we're looking at. We're really excited about the website. And again, that's the fifth area that we're looking at. As we look at the target areas, again, there are initiatives there that we have, but you know, are there some questions that you think there are in terms of the strategic effort that we're looking at right
I think it's a good overview, Arvin, on the broad scope that Forset is really trying to play in. You know, it's a big playground. Economic development is the toughest thing, in my opinion, for a community to do, economic diversification. And we've talked about this on the show and in other places before, but you know, when you've spent decade after decade with extractive industries, basically paying the checks for everybody. If you're a high-paying job working for a ConocoPhillips, and that high-paying job then helps pay for the service-level restaurant jobs, retail jobs, all those jobs affiliated with that one job. And so for decades, having a very, very massive amount of energy companies that were at play here, and to have those kind of all step away really forced us into the position to say we have to find a way to diversify and expand. And Four Corners Economic Development, prior to being Four Corners, was San Juan Economic Development. I think that's
Yeah.
SJEDs. And so we've taken this organization that you're responsible for is looking at the regional component. That's really the Four Corners area. We've had the Four Corners conferences. You've also had some other conferences to try and bring all the stakeholders from those four states together, because this region, there's enough resources in this region, in my opinion, really could have its own state, so to speak. I mean, you've got everything from energy and water and outdoor recreation, and broadband is a big initiative that I know is on your list of things to do. But there are some gaps that need to be filled, and that's where I think these 5 projects, your focus here is trying to fill those gaps for some long-term sustainable economic development. One of the frustrating areas for me is how short-sighted many of the areas, when we're talking to our federal electeds, they're short-sighted in their approach to what long-term economic development is. I mean, even just in the case of what's been given to us through the federal monies for the American Rescue Plan. We get phone calls that say, well, what do you guys need from us? How much money do you need from us? Well, what we need our federal people to do is to support the big, hairy, audacious projects that we're trying to get done, so that we have the ability for our kids to stay here and find jobs to work that are high-paying jobs for a long time to come, and help this workforce. One of the areas you're going to talk about is the railroad project. We've got a $2 million grant through the federal government to help support the planning and design of that. The fortunate part for us, Arvin, is you in this position now, you've helped lead other projects that are dealing with the same right-of-way, the water project from Shiprock to Gallup, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Utilizing the same right-of-way. So you've worked with individuals who are already familiar with what we're going to be talking about. That's exciting stuff. Pipelines to get natural gas out of the basin and to the coasts is critical. Not even to the coast. I mean, get it to Mexico, get it to other parts of these mountain states. I mean, it's economic security. There's so many components that go along with why that's important to us. We have to get, and I know lobbying is something, a little bit of what you all do, but we have to get these federal electeds and our state electeds, not just the ones from San Juan County, on board, because there's a void up here in the northwest corner of the state.
It's been fairly quiet in terms of people really looking at us. And, Mayor, you and I have been in those meetings in the state where it's been San Juan County against the state of New Mexico in some instances.
Yeah.
And again, what we're doing right now is looking at how do we begin to build those partnerships, because being in the extractive energy industry and looking at what we were able to accomplish, that in itself really led to a lot of competitiveness between our communities here, which in a way, in that type of environment, was good. We were able to really work within ourselves to develop economic development avenues for each of the different communities, for the Navajo Nation. People still benefited in one way or the other, but again, everybody focused within themselves, and it was a way of progressing development. And we saw Farmington grow and develop because of that. But now, because the energy sector is changing and evolving, we have to begin to look at how do we begin to effectively partner with our regional partners, the 4 states, the tribes. How do we begin to do that? And as you indicated, we have the potential of really utilizing that political clout. Think about it, having senators and legislators from the 4 states advocating for this area, being able to really gain attention by bringing the tribes into the picture. We've been working very hard to do that because, again, we're somewhat of an island unto ourselves. We're San Juan County, but we have to go through the Navajo Nation if we're going to go south. If we're going to go north or see opportunities north, the state of Colorado. And within the state of Colorado, we still have the Southern Ute, the Ute Mountain Ute. If we go west, we got the Hopi. Again, we got the Navajo. And if we go east, we got the Hickory Apache. And we got the state of New Mexico. So again, there are things there that we've got to deal with. And so what we've been working on is building those relationships. One of the big things we've been focused on is the Navajo, because there are a number of projects that we have that in my case, though they may seem like an elephant in size, they're still attainable. And if you work through the process and have that partnership in place, I think we can get the necessary infrastructure efforts that we need here in the county that would benefit the full region. Getting that railroad in here would be very impactful, not only to San Juan County, not only to the Navajo Nation, but to the Four Corners region as a whole. Getting a middle mile plan in here in partnership with Southwest Colorado and the Navajo Nation would also do the same thing and would enhance our capabilities of being able to communicate and look at new opportunities such as location neutral, looking at telemedicine, a number of things that we've seen the shortcomings through the pandemic of not having really good internet here in the area for education, for medicine, for business development, etc. So we're looking at those areas there too. And again, looking at the possibilities of bringing new opportunities in the area. We're looking at expanding Raytheon. That will bring manufacturing jobs here into the region fairly quickly. So again, how do we begin to get that initiated, working with the nation so that happens fairly quickly? We're looking at a pump storage hydroelectric project on the western portion of the reservation. This is like a huge battery, a 70-hour, 1,500 megawatt battery once it's constructed and ready to go. That would allow the further development and construction of solar facilities on the western, even the eastern portion of the county here. We have the transmission that would allow us to send power to pump water up, and then when water is let down through a series of tunnels going through a hydroelectric power plant, that would generate the necessary power to continue operations into the night when the weather doesn't permit efficient solar development for electricity. So again, that would again open doors because we see a lot of manufacturing firms that want to go renewable. We can then sell that as a recruitment for the nation, which in essence would allow more development here in the area, which would help the Four Corners region as a whole. So there are things here that we're working on that will be beneficial to everybody.
Well, I think that message, Arvin, that I take out of it, one job created in this Four Corners area is one job that benefits the entire Four Corners.
That's
Period.
correct.
It's not just a matter of where, if it's a job in Bloomfield, if it's a job in Durango, the job in Shiprock, Cortez, wherever, those are jobs being created. And, you know, I go to places like Denver and Phoenix. I mean, it takes me an hour and a half to get from my brother's house on one end of Phoenix to my aunt's house on the other side of Phoenix. That's a big urban area. And I really think it's important that the mentality of individuals who live in this region, that we start, and maybe we already are, but embrace the fact that we all share the same air, we all play in the same playgrounds together, and we're all benefiting from many jobs that are created here one way or another. So
yes.
Trying to bring that regional mindset, and you know, unfortunately, there are times I feel where there are borders, so to speak, silos that have been created around, whether you're a New Mexican or you're on the Navajo Nation or you're in Colorado, that you're somehow supposed to just protect that thing, and that's not the case. We all work together. We should be working together for each other for exactly these things that we're talking about, because we need a future here.
Yes.
We need the brain drain in New Mexico, and I'll speak about New Mexico in general. We need the brain drain to go away. But a lot of these our smartest kids are leaving this area. They're not coming back because there aren't industries to support them and their needs of a high quality of life. When it comes to quality of life, I think we may have some of the best when it comes to weather and no natural disasters, access to health care, obviously all the big box, type retail chains that are nearby, southern Colorado, all the mountains and everything that exists within those tourist areas, the desert, the amazing monuments. I mean, we've got 2 World Heritage Sites right here in this area. This is a quality of life we're celebrating. But if I'm going to be 23, 24, 25 years old and I want to go someplace with my new wife and start raising a family, I've got to have some way of looking towards the future in the long term for me and my family, and how am I going to get there and where am I going to go? These projects you're talking about provide some of that, in my opinion.
Well, again, it's looking at how we can come together and really envision diversifying the economy here in San Juan County. What you bring up is really what we're trying to do is build on the quality of life that we have here in San Juan County and in the Four Corners region as a whole. As you indicated, in this area, we don't recognize borders.
No.
We go to Durango and we shop. They come down here and they shop and enjoy our areas. We go to Cortez. People go to Shiprock. People go to Monument Valley, to Aztec Ruins, to Chaco Canyon. We don't recognize those borders. We go skiing. And so again, those are things that we can build off of, but it's looking at the partnership that's there and how we can enhance one another's capabilities so that we can see some of these projects come to fruition.
You know, Arvin, I was just involved with the Business Retention Expansion Project. This was done through Four Corners Economic Development. Nancy Shepard, Jeremiah Hayes were helping lead that effort, and the University of Minnesota was kind of brought in because they've done some BRE stuff elsewhere. And so,
Yes.
you know, we went through, there was a big business survey that was done. How many
Yes.
businesses ended up
We had
being
100
surveyed?
businesses.
100 businesses were surveyed all across the county.
Yes.
In discussing the challenges that they face, the strengths of the area and operating here and everything in between. So what have you gotten out of that experience thus far in regards to maybe the attitudes or maybe the gaps even of things that we need to help our businesses with?
Well, I think one of the real gaps that I see right now is how do we get resources to our businesses? We have a lot of resources through the state, through the college, through even some of the high school training centers. Yet our small businesses aren't aware of those resources that are available. And again, they look at this and say, well, I got a business to run. I don't have time to do a class or do this. You know, I need to run my business. And the idea here is how do we shorten that gap so that our business people can take advantage, or we can provide other resources for them. That's one thing we saw. You know, Mayor, one thing too that was really surprising, we interviewed 100 businesses. And out of that, over 70% of those businesses we interviewed are looking to expand their business. Even during this period of pandemic, they're looking at down the future, how can I expand my business? And so again, we're looking at that to say, okay, how do we assist those companies, those small businesses, in order to achieve that? And how do we get them knowledgeable about these infrastructure projects so that they too can become a part of that effort? Because one of the strengths that we've been able to establish with Four Corners Economic Development is that we've gone out and we've got the participation of the community. This isn't just a small group of people coming together and saying, well, this is what I think they want, or this is what I think businesses are looking for. We go out, we get answers, we bring representatives from those other areas. These different theme areas, each of them have a goal team. Each of them is run by a member of the business who's leading those different goal teams. And then we've got other members of the business community and the general community as a whole who are a part of these teams, who are helping us determine what's the best way to achieve partnership in the BRE or our foresaid organization, or looking at target industries, or meeting these project needs, or looking at workforce development, or how do we enhance our website to better market ourselves and better provide information to the local community. Local community members are a part of this, and I would really stress if you're interested in being a part of it, because that's one message I've been trying to break out to people, is that we have a tendency to look at things and say, well, the city will take care of economic development. Forsaid will take care of it, or the state will take care of it. Somebody else will take care of it. No, we have to take the lead ourselves. And we as business members, community members, all need to come together and say, what is it we want? How do we want to proceed forward in this development? And by getting that information, we can all move forward in a concerted effort and partner with the Navajo Nation, open doors with Southwest Colorado, open doors with the state of New Mexico.
Well, I will tell you this, just through the BRE experience, the parts that I've participated in, I have to say that from the component, maybe the mentality for these business owners or any business owner in general, we're all stressed, we're all busy, we're all trying to make the dollar and support our employees and those things. But taking the time to know where to access resources, to know where the training's at, and then go through those trainings is really, it's an investment in the business for the long-term success of that company. We have found in places that we have gone to visit, we'll use Moab as an example. Moab didn't roll out the red carpet for outdoor recreation companies. They weren't providing incentives for people who wanted to operate and guide on the river or carry people through on horseback through these trails or off-roading. They didn't roll out the red carpet. Those guys came on their own. It was a very holistic growth of how businesses started happening here. And some of the things we're trying to do right now is create those public-private partnerships as an enticement. Downtown Farmington, that renovation, that's an example of that. We want to create a space where companies can come in or people can come in, open up their businesses and have success. We want them to have success. But the challenge that I saw in that BRE result was how do you bring the horse to water so the horse knows that there's water to drink? And I just want to put a plug in for you. The Quality Center for Business, where your offices are at, has a small business association located in there. The Farmington Chamber of Commerce is in there. Forset is in there. We've got the incubator that the Quality Center for Business operates, as well as the maker space. If today I wanted to start a company to create toothpicks, I could literally utilize every single one of these entities that are in the Quality Center for Business at San Juan College to assist me in creating the toothpick, packaging the toothpick, selling the toothpick, all those things. It could come directly from these resources here. So if you're interested and you're looking for somewhere to take your business information to, or create a business plan, or toss ideas out with, hey, what are the gaps right now in San Juan County where there's a business that could thrive at this point, I say go to the Quality Center for Business at San Juan College.
We can help you. We can point you in the right direction. As you said, looking at business planning, looking at financing, looking at expensive equipment to make different prototypes. You can learn how to use that equipment. There's office space there if you need office space.
Yeah.
There are a number of things there that are there to assist small businesses and to help them through that startup phase. And again, looking at incubation. How do we incubate these small businesses and get them growing and developing? How do we accelerate that growth and development? So these things are available through the Quality Center for Business. And as you indicated, many of those resources are located there for the asking.
Sure.
And in many cases, it's at a very nominal fee or free. And again, it's there to support our local businesses. And maybe there are challenges that current businesses are going through right now. Again, coming up to the center and talking to some of these resources may open some new doors, opportunities, maybe identify some resources for them to take advantage of that will help them through those challenges and bring new skills and opportunities to them in their business.
We definitely could use that, Arvin. It's always amazed me to the point that you mentioned earlier, this anticipation that somebody else is going to take care of these things for us. I can use my outdoor recreation experience and trying to help facilitate growth in those areas and develop trails and those sorts of things. Government can only do so much. It's the user groups who have to assist us in that realm. We need the user groups involved. We need those individuals there so that they can help maintain the trails, so they can spread the word, so they can blog about what they're seeing today on the trails in San Juan County, so that it markets and gets those things out. Marketing's a huge issue for us, Arvin.
Yeah.
It's a huge issue. We have some small components that are doing some marketing, but we don't have a concerted effort that says, hey, we've talked about this. You may have read an article about San Juan County in this way, but we don't have anything where they can go and say, oh, geez, just yesterday somebody was out on the Animas River and they were floating down the river, or they were at Navajo Marina and they were enjoying the stuff going on at the marina. We don't have that entity that's really putting that together. And this is my opinion, to attract those companies and those people, we got to get them here through the tourism type mentality, just to get them into the door so they can check out and see what's going on, and then they're going to have to make that determination to say, I want to be a part of something special. Because I think what we're doing up here is really special. I think these projects, whether it's the railroad project, the broadband project, different things that we're working on, really shines a light. Carbon capture is a big deal. City of Farmington's focused on that. It shines a bright light on us and our ability to transition a very popular and concrete source of energy into new forms and new ways of providing that long-term, clean power that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So lots of fun stuff going on. And where I see the biggest gap of all is the funding involved in getting these projects pushed forward.
And again, that funding is critical. We're working hard to attract that needed funding, but also to the viewers of the table today, I would really encourage you to go to www.4cornersed.com. Check out our website. Look at what's in there. We're continuing to build that whole website. And again, the goal there is, as you indicated, Mayor, we want that website to tell a story.
Yeah.
To tell a story about our community, what we have available here, the workforce that we have available, the industries that we're looking at. We want to begin to do that, and partnering with the nation, being able to partner with Raytheon, with NAPI, and bringing those aspects into it. I mean, we've got good partnerships with PESCO, the hospital, the college. We're looking at continuing our efforts with Southwest Colorado. There's a myriad of possibilities as we begin to look at this together. But again, it all starts with each and every one of us and really saying, what can I do? How can I contribute? And as we all begin to do that, we can begin to move forward as a force in getting the name out, getting the information out. Because again, many of our business owners and industry and employees, you're going out every day, and as we get through the pandemic, you're going to be traveling. And through your discussions or business meetings or et cetera, you're going to meet new people. And it'd be very good for you just to say, you should check out the Four Corners Economic Development website. That tells a story about who we are, what we have to offer. That might be something of interest to you or your business. And again, the idea here is to get that information out, that data out, but more importantly, those stories out so that people begin to get a flavor as to what's here, not only in San Juan County, but also in the general Four Corners region.
Right. Well, Arvin, you said it best. It starts with each one of us. Like I coach my kids, it's about attitude and effort. And if each of us goes about our day focused on how I can make a positive difference here in my area by making my interactions with individuals I'm coming, whether it's somebody on the street, somebody in the store. I'll tell you what, I've just gone to the habit. I just wave at everybody now when I drive because I don't know, that may be somebody visiting my town. Mm-hmm. I want them to feel welcome. I make it a point where if I'm in the Starbucks line, I look behind me and see somebody, I buy them coffee. I want them to remember that this is a great place to be, but it starts with each one of us. And Four Corners Economic Development has some great resources that we just encourage people to get involved with. Obviously, they can become members of ForSet as well, and that gets them, some benefits.
Yes.
But Arvin, I don't have any other questions for you today. Is there anything you want to finish up with?
Well, main thing I just want to finish up with is we're not looking at the challenges that are before us in a way that says, woe is me. No. We're looking at this saying, yes, there are challenges, but with each of these challenges, there are new opportunities that arise. We're looking at these new opportunities. We're pushing the envelope as we begin to develop those relationships. And yes, it takes work to do that, but we're making inroads, and we're looking to each and every one of you to help us through that. Yes, we've been working on a railroad for decades, but we've got a $2 million planning grant. We've got the nation now sitting
closer
with
than
us
we've ever been
on the MOU that says, yes, we will work with San Juan County to get a railroad to the I-40 corridor. We're looking at broadband development, and we're looking at things where dollars are going to be coming down the pike. Are we ready to get those dollars and accept those dollars? But more importantly, put those dollars into action to actually come up with projects that are completed. That's the goal here. And so again, I truly appreciate the opportunity, Mayor. Our partnership with the City of Farmington has been very, very good, excellent. I want to continue that partnership looking forward, but we've also developed partnerships with the other municipalities here in San Juan County,
Sure.
with the Navajo Nation, and we're beginning to open doors with Southwest Colorado, with the Southern Utes and the Ute Mountain Utes right now. So again, we're looking to really expand our efforts here in Four Corners, and we look forward to a great year. And again, number of projects we're working on, and I hope to come back and explain where we are later this year.
No, I think it'd be good to get updates regularly, Arvin, from you and your group. I know Steve Gray is your chairperson on there now, and Scott Bird, Nancy Shepard, Chris Hunter. They're all involved. Also, all long-term community members who've worked very diligently throughout their careers and many careers to work on behalf of improving the quality of life and the economics of this region. So, well, Arvin, I appreciate the work that you're doing, and we look forward to having you back on here to give us some updates. And again, these are big, hairy, audacious goals, but there is some important numbers at the end of that, and those numbers to me is it's going to be individuals who are going to be working here, playing here, staying here, and thriving here in the Four Corners. So, thanks again for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Mayor. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us as always. We appreciate your viewership. If you're looking for more information on Four Corners economic development, check out the new website at the number 4
cornersed.com.
Excellent. And we'll see you here next time right here on the Mayor's Table.